Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, just wherever you are watching KMTV from. This is the closing argument, and we are live on RFN 107.9. We are also live in Bombay County on Puma FN 106.3. Today, we're going to be discussing variety of issues as they unfold in the country. So let's now welcome one of the panelists on the closing argument. Good evening, Dr. Peabody, and welcome to the closing argument.
Good to see you, Ayuba. Another weekend, another Friday edition of the closing argument. It's good to see you. We'd like to welcome all our viewers to the closing argument. You know, the others will be joining us soon. But Ayuba, what's up? How you doing? How's Liberia?
Well, Liberia is relatively calm and the weather is okay, and there are a lot of issues unfolding in country, and so we're going to be going to some of them.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of trending issue in the country. We saw this morning. The president was around the city dedicating, inspecting projects and things like that. The ANC convention in Cantat Lima County, right?
Yeah.
And then the issue of that recording, it seemed like it's spreading like wildfire in over the country, or the word about folks trying to what blackmail the mayor of Monrovia and all of that. So we're looking forward to a very friendly and interesting conversation tonight. Jackie, Tomalin, Keff Hassan will be joining us. Well, you better tell me tell me about some of the happening in Monrovia this week.
Well, so since in fact the focus is being placed on Gantor, the CDC as part of their strategies is also in Gantor City having a elaborate ceremony with chief and elders in Nimba County. That may seem some way somehow as a counter reaction to the opposition community whenever they come about having an elaborate
Okay.
occasion. So they try
So you said the
countering it.
CDC is in Lima as well.
CDC is in Nimba Ganto as we speak, and they too had an elaborate ceremony where they were actually engaging chief and elders of the county who have come about to pledge support for the re-election of President George Weah in the city of Ganto.
So you got the ANC convention in Ganta, and then you got the CDC in Ganta. What a conflict of interest there. I mean, because the ANC was hosting it there, so why would the CDC want to have another program there
No,
when ANC?
it might not seem to be a conflict of interest because the two parties are not actually having convention in Ganto. One is having another event pledging support to a political institution, and
Okay,
then another party is confined into a particular location and then having their convention indoor.
okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, to so Nima is really on fire. We have the government and the opposition in Nima today. That is interesting. So
And just
what is
before
okay?
just
Chairman
before you come in,
Sanvee.
that just before you come in, there is a side attraction from the angle of the opposition community in person of Yeke Koloba, representing Yeke Koloba of District 10, who is also parading the entire county and building up momentum uh, for the CPP convention. So
Wow.
yeah, he's making a lot of radio appearances, and then you have motorcyclists parading all in the street with him. That's also another attraction from the opposition community.
So Yeke appeared to be the ambassador of the CPP. He represent all the opposition. But let's welcome Chairman Benjamin Sanvee. He was just in Liberia, and Chairman Sanvee is back. Welcome, Chairman Sanvee.
Good. Can you get me clear?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, you're live. You just got to punch your voice a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still feeling a little. My ears are all clogged. This has never happened to me before since I traveled. Um, I feel like I'm hearing myself in my head.
Wow.
But I'm okay. Okay, it's good to be on. I'm hopefully. I probably might need to go in and come back out. It keeps telling me that my bandwidth is low, so I don't know what's going on. But
But
I'll go in and
you
come back
sound
out.
very clear though.
Yeah, so you can go
I'm
in and
talking about
come
my
back.
picture, so I don't know if
Yeah,
it's.
yeah. So you can do that
Yeah.
and come back.
Well, Ayuba, so you said there was a side attraction. Yeke Koluba, the ambassador of the opposition, is in Nima, and I watched a little tip of him speaking at one place, and was mobilizing the young people to come up and welcome. I heard him saying, if Vice President Barga comes here, welcome him. If Mr. Cumming comes here, you need to welcome him. So it seemed like, interestingly, why is everybody going to Nima? Why you think so?
So you see the contradicting statement on the part of the CDC is that they are claiming that they support by the MDR party to the former ruling unity party is nothing of essence. So looking at them coming at this point in time, fighting in Nimba County whenever there is a program in Nimba by the opposition community and they are trying to like counter that program, not to give it a bit of credence in terms of support base, the audience,
Right.
and the mobilization. So some way, somehow, it seems to me to be a contradiction because if you think in your own mind that Nimba County is not a country that you're going to fight for, despite the political leader of the MDR joining ranks with the Unity Party, then you should not be in the country all the time trying to mobilize Chieftain. Because the last time I remember we were in Nimba County, the chief and elders of Nimba uh, pledged support to the re-election bid of President George Weah. In fact, they hand deliver a key to Mayor Koji, the city mayor of Monrovia, symbolizing that the key of Ganta or the entire Nima County is being turned over to President George Weah. He has the key to open every other doors in the country. So, in some way, because we have not even observed the the arrival of Senator Koung, who is now the vice running mate to uh, Ambassador Boaka, into the county. And then you see the CDC is all over the place, a counter reacting to the CPP. So I'm just wondering as to the day that Ambassador Boaka and Jeremiah Kun will arrive in the country to officially turn over their son to the country as his running mate. I'm wondering what strategy will the CDC put in place again? Because as you may be aware, the CDC is heavily involved and engaged in the Lofa County for nearly the past 2 months now. We are yet to see Representative Tomofala in Morovia. He is basically focused in Lofa County, where he have a station and carry on a whole lot of activities. And so they see the convention in Nima to be something that they can actually take away from. And so that is why they are in the county and doing all they can do to have a little bit of attraction on the CDC rather than the CPP.
Okay, yeah, but it seemed like the CDC have been doing a heck of a work in Nima, I mean in Lofa County. Fala have been there. I think Jeff Kochi have been there on several occasions. I see they are involved into a lot of projects. Solar panel and all of that, and so it seems it will be really interesting come the election. But we'd like to welcome Honorable Keff Hassan, and Keff, welcome, man. What's on your mind,
How are
Kev?
you? How are you guys? I hope you guys having a great day. You say what's on my mind?
Yeah.
Well, I I was watching. I'm here, Echo. I don't know if you can hear me. I was watching today when the president visited the Claratown field and looking at the development um, in the area that nobody, since we grew up in Monrovia, that place was a place of nobody want to associate themselves in that area. You see from Yucatan, Claratown, all the places that you nobody, you nothing, you zero. But I saw a modern park, a modern field, modern basketball court, modern place. And one of the things that stuck in my mind, the president said, uh, I, I build myself and I will build uh, the country. And then I I watch it and I say, this is why George Weah is us and we are George Weah. He said, I built myself and I will build the country. Can anybody dispute that and say because he built himself with his natural talent, with his bare hands, no favor but that talent, and he decided to build the country. So when I saw it today, I said, we're moving somewhere, we're moving. That 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 little boy will grow up in Claratown and play on the field that or I can say he will play on the field that he always watch on TV. You guys remember how that field was looking? That Claratown field? I
Yeah,
don't know.
certainly,
You
certainly.
remember how that field? I wish we had that tape to look before and after and see the development that this president is doing. You know, the naysayer out there, they're saying things, but look at that field. Look at that field. It's something that where I live in the United States, I see that kind of development all over in my neighborhood, and people are appreciating that in America. In Liberia, the president taking what our children are playing in America. Our children, Dr. Peabody children are playing in America. The president is taking that from America to Liberia.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
that's
That's what we
interesting.
say.
That's interesting that you have all those different parks, and everywhere in Monrovia will be different kind of park for folks to go and gather, and for recreation and other things. I think is very good. I think we applaud any kind of development that will benefit the people of Liberia, our children of Liberia, and all of that. That I watched the president today. I watched him taking a tour of that. I mean that's great, but most people would
I think
ask,
Jeremiah.
huh? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody who will appreciate that. But Kev, most people are saying this is. I mean, this is a fabulous work, great project. But most Liberian are saying we want job, we want the bread and butter, we want food. I mean, we want to be able to work and find a job and stuff like that. This is a great up. This is a great move by the president. This is historical. The first time ever in the history. But what about the bread and butter issue, finding a job and all of that, Kev?
Because most Liberians understand that um, government cannot employ everybody. They understand that. People who are talking about, oh, everybody should get a job. They know that the Unity Party did not give everybody a job. Before the Unity Party, before the war, the do government did not. But this president uh, focus on development. Let me say this to you, Dr. Peabody. You know who building this field, that field, this thing you're saying? The Liberian people. That jobs there. You see any foreigner on that field? On what you see? Any foreigner? Dr. Peabody, you travel down the Ralphie Highway. Now Liberians, you seeing driving all the tractor, all these things them around. That's jobs. When this president focus on building the country, who getting the jobs? Are robot? The Liberians. So I don't understand why people will say we need jobs. But the president, when there's a development, there will be a job because a Liberian. When the president said you will not be spectator in your economy, that's what he meant. That if we build a Ralphie Highway, that Liberian will build it. You will not be spectator. You will not stay on the side and see women building it. That's what he meant. When the president said that you will not be spectator when you look at Claratown, that's what he meant. PHP. So how can you say why the other side saying, "Oh, jobs"? Who working on those field? And I can tell you, uh, when when I remember talking to let me put Chairman Ben on the spot. I remember talking to Chairman Ben. We were watching Ralphie High one day. The guy Chairman said, "Oh, they're building the road." But who building the road? I traveled down our road. We traveled down our road. The Liberian people I saw. We traveled there. We were there. So who are the people getting the jobs? Are Liberians. So so the more development, Dr. Peabody, the more we see people out there developing places that Liberian people. So when the president say you will not be spectator in your own economy, that's what he meant.
Well, I think I saw Chairman Ben, but we want to move on to other issue. We did see that the president was around the different community park. I hear it's Claratown and another area. What's the other area, Kev?
You got a PHP
PHP.
uh,
And then we
that
got
working then even the invisible park, the Liberian building, now a foreigner, a Liberian's building. Look at the pictures you're seeing. Look at the pictures. You see any women there? Look at who. Look behind the basketball court. You see people working there. The Liberians. They're feeding
well,
their people. The Liberians.
well, I hope that it create the opportunity for Liberian and it create But
The
I mean,
more development, the more development, the more development, the more Liberian people getting jobs. And more Liberian
well,
people getting jobs.
what about Kev? Is this? I know it's more development, more Liberian people, but how many jobs this park gonna create?
Like some Peabody, if you feed one soul, you feed a family. Let me tell you, one man take home his wife, his children, his, his mother, everybody. You sometimes we look at things small, but one job you feed the whole family. My favorite part. You're a reverend man. My favorite part in the Bible, they're saying if you save one soul, the angel in heaven rejoice.
Wars.
They rejoice. Because you know why the angel rejoice? Because if you save the father, what they say, for me and my family, we will serve the Lord.
Well, Kev is Kev. But yep, Kev. I'm gonna. I mean, don't get me wrong here. The park is great. People want to socialize after a hectic day of hustling and thing. People want to find somewhere to take their children to for recreation, and go there in the day. Like sometime in the evening, I'll take my kids to the basketball court and all of that. But yeah, is it? Yeah, is it? Yeah, is it? Okay, great job, great work. But the bread, the bread and butter issue. You I was in Liberia. A lot of Liberia talk about we want jobs. You got thousands of students that graduated from the University of Liberia. No job, job. And don't let me say this. President Salif, even under President Salif leadership, there was still this struggle of finding a job. Liberian was still unemployment rate was still high under President Salif leadership. So it's not something that only in this government. But I think that's what the majority of Liberia cry about all the time, and they will get all into the politics, Kev. Uh, uh, what Liberia and most of even the opposition, a lot of them have not told us. Even Joe Parker have not told us what he planned to create jobs for the Liberian people. Most of the Liberians continue to cry about job, job, job. You graduate over
Because the
2,000
problem
students.
is the problem is Liberians themselves are killing their own jobs.
How?
Reason why I say that? Why I say that? Government cannot hire everybody.
Absolutely.
Private sector, that's the way to go. In America, private sector. Europe, private sector. The world, private sector. You fought war. You take your country 100 years back, and you will come on the radio and TV talking about lying, like what on that tape of folks like Stanton, like everybody conniving to make the country look bad. Do you think people will come to invest in a country that folks destroying their own country? Jerome Verdier and other. Do you think? Do you think so? No, no. Because as a businessman, how can you come to invest in a country that you fought war? You killed thousands of people, over 250,000 people, and you still talking about death. You still organizing in the back and to lie that the country is in disarray. Then, if you don't have investor, you say the government not bringing, but you're not happy. You're not happy.
But the people
Right.
talking about.
Anyway, I
Anyway,
think share that.
we have our guest. I think Jackie will be joining us. Mr. Kennedy, welcome to the closing argument. Good to see you, sir.
Doc, Doc, it's nice to see you, man. Kev, how you doing there, Chief?
How are you, my brother? How
All
are
right,
you?
all right. So I hear you
What?
guys talking about this infamous recording, huh?
Yeah, it's something
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that have been trending a lot on social media all over Liberia. So, what's your take about that, Mr. Kennedy? Before the others come in and we get into our conversation here tonight.
You know, one thing that Kev said that is true, when investors looking at a particular country that want to enter the country, they'll kind of take a look at the whole atmosphere, what's going on in the country. So they actually would pay attention to some of the social impacts and stuff happening in there. Because here's the thing, if I'm interested in investing in Liberia, I will compare Liberia to Sierra Leone, to Guinea, to Cote d'Ivoire, and all those countries, and see, which one would be the best environment for me to invest my money. Now, if you are propagating a lot of false narratives about the environment, it would scare investors. Look, I know people love the politics. We all want to win elections. But if you go with the nuclear option and you kind of burn everything down, nobody's going to come. Even when you take power, no one is going to come because they will remember what you said several months ago that this country is a bad place to invest in. So I know politics is a dirty, underhanded game. That's why I'm not a politician, right? But it's good to play fair sometimes, right? And the thing is, if I remember correctly, this whole recording, I know in certain states over here, you cannot record somebody without their consent.
Yeah, my state, you can do that. Yeah,
Exactly. So that's
my
something
state,
people need to
you
kind
can
of
do
pay
that.
close attention to. Recording people without consent is illegal in certain states. So people got to be careful with that whole recording. But I don't know, man. I'm not a with this whole Jerome. I mean, Jerome
Yeah,
Verdier did a great job with the TRC. Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
my state. If I talk to Dr. Peabody, for example, he record me. My state, you don't know, I can sue him because first of all, you have to let me know that you recorded. So you can record me because I know that, you know. But if you in Liberia, you come and record somebody going Liberia, I know how what you can do.
People
You
need
know,
to be
what you,
careful about that thing. People need to be careful with their whole undercover
yeah.
recording
because what I
business.
meant, what I was thinking on that whole tip, the idea alone of making a recording and trying to blackmail another group of people. I mean, it just it goes back to
You
what
see,
Edson said.
the reason we need to stop this, the reason we need to stop this, um, you other government will come. This will not be the last government. George Manuel will one day will not be president. But if you introduce that culture of blackmailing a government, where we heading to? I think everybody who love their country should stop this, should go against this. Because if you do that, say because Dr. Peabody support coming, so I have to destroy and lie and say this, or Larry support Unity Party, I have to destroy and say they're doing this. What we heading to? So I think we should play a fair game. Let's go to the issue. There's a lot to be discussed about on the issue. But to call Monrovia City Police Director and bring him down to New Jersey to a famous Wawa that we all know, we've been there, and try to persuade him or try to change his mind or sway him to lie on Koji so the country can look like a killing machine. And I ask this question, Larry. Let me ask you this question. Let's start the show. Let me ask you this question. What would benefit the government if all the crime they put on Koji, what would benefit the government? What is the motive? Because I ask people, if you are a government of the day, the more the country is quiet, less killing, things are going well, your chances of winning election is greater. It benefits you both domestically and internationally. You go down in the record. Why would a sitting government will wake up and just want to destroy their own image? What motive? What is the motive? What I'm looking at the rationale, the sense. What happened? Why would somebody want to do it? Who it would benefit? So all the allegation they put it on Koji, how would that benefit the government? It don't make no sense. So I'm asking you, Larry, let's start the show. How?
You know, I'm a capitalist, true and true. And if there's no true monetary value in something, I don't invest in it. So they're not doing it for money, right? So people will not do it for money. People just want to take Koji down. Koji has gotten under the skin of a lot of people. People just pretty much pissed off with him, do not like him whatsoever. So there's no like true value in it. It's just it's just dislike for Koji, plain and simple. I'll be honest with you. You know, people just dislike Koji, plain and simple. And some of it may have to do with people trying to retaliate. You know, people in the opposition. Remember when Tilia Ure was having her event? Uh, Koji was implicated in trying to bring harm to Tilia Ure. So, you know, people within certain camps may want to retaliate because of some of the events that has been attributed to Koji. So that's all it is. It's people seeking revenge, and it's not so much of monetary value And I see your point, Kev. You're asking, is there any value to someone to do this? Well, for me, there's no monetary or economic value to it, so I wouldn't even consider it. But if it's just retaliation, then I can see how somebody would want to do that to retaliate for something that he's done or something he may have done in the past. So that's what it is. Mr. Sanvey, how you doing, sir?
Thank you, Larry. It's good to see you. Good to see you, and thank you to the guys. I think I'm much clearer now, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
clear. Yeah, we can hear you. That's
But
good.
yeah, it's good to be on, and looking forward to a fascinating discussion. A lot of things have been happening, so we're gonna be chiming in. Just got back from Morovia. I'm still a little under the weather, but I thought it was important that we come on and contribute our little 1 or 2 cents to the discussion. So I'm here.
No, welcome, Chairman Semby. Jackie is coming on, and hoping that you're going to take over from there. But we will continue our discussion
The
of.
people are asking that Larry should introduce himself.
Yeah,
Since I'm
Larry,
new.
welcome, Mr. Kennedy. We'd like to welcome you again. Can you just introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, Mr. Kennedy?
So the people who don't know me out there, I'm the third horse in the race. I'm running for president. So just want to let you know, everybody running for president, like the song goes, right? No, Larry Kennedy. You guys may have seen me once or twice on the Acosta show. I'm a guy who really enjoyed finance, economics, and conversations related to anything Liberia. I spent a lot of time trying to understand why Liberia, despite all of the resources, despite all of the technical know-how, we have a lot of people at home and in the diaspora. We just can't seem to get past a certain stage. We still at that 185 out of 190 countries in the world on a development scale. So I'm really just kind of curious to understand why we can do better. So I'm sure there's opportunity there for us to do better, but maybe if we put down the swords, knives, and guns and we work together, who knows? We may be able to get somewhere at the end.
Jackie, welcome, and you take over from there, Jackie. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. I thought Ben was taking over. Hi Ben, good to see you.
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm not. I'm still a little under the weather. I was telling the guys. It's my first time I've come back from Liberia, and I have this. My ears are clogged. I don't know what
Uh
the hell
oh.
happened with this flight, but I feel like I can hear myself in my head. But I felt the news has just been too juicy for me to stay away today to recover fully. Maybe it may not be the best thing to do, but I'm excited to join the conversation today, and let's have some fascinating things. A lot has happened, so yeah.
That's true. And you have a lot to tell us too. I mean, Liberia is a juicy place right now. A whole lot of stuff going on in Liberia this year. So I hope you can share some of your experience with us, your trip back home. And sorry, you're under the weather. Tomalin was under the weather too when he came. So I don't know if it's the climate change or what's going on. Coming back and forth from Liberia, but we're glad to see that you're back safe and sound, although you are a little bit under the weather. And to Larry, welcome to the closing argument. I know the team already welcomed you. And I'm not sure what we were discussing. So Peabody, I will send it right back to you.
We're just talking about
Uh,
the recording with Mayor Kochi and others involved, Jerome Verdier, Stanton, and Fagon, all those who were planning the recording and the message and the motive and all of that. I'm interested to hear Chairman Ben's view on that. What do you think about that, Chairman?
First of all, let me state for the record. I think Larry said something that was very fascinating. I heard him say it in transition when he talked about the fact that people just don't like Koji or stuff like that. It is sad. First of all, let me state that it's sad that our politics has gotten to a place where we cannot have an exchange of ideas without trying to tear each other apart. I come from the school of thought that politics should be a competition of ideas. If your idea is stronger than mine, then so be it. The people resonate towards yours, and they support you and they vote for you. But this politics of anything go, like Barack Obama said, right? This politics of slicing and dicing, and this politics of We're going to go all out there to go ahead and destroy you. And there has been a tendency for it to happen on both sides. So this is not just one sided. I did get a chance to listen to some of the videos. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. I think, and I'm ashamed with some of the folks that are, because some of the people who are here in the audio are people who I know. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. No matter what the situation is, it is disgusting. No one should be plotting to destroy another person's life because of politics. No one should be plotting to tear down another person's character because of politics. I think every man or woman should be judged based on their character, on what they do, how they carry themselves. But for us to get to a place in our politics where it's about tearing each other down, and we act like this election is just not a season. Mind you, the folks who we are supposed to be canvassing and supporting, they're fine. They're friends. And that's why I have made it I've made myself a shining example. I'm not burning bridges for no politician. I'm not doing that. If I know President George Weah personally, newsflash, I got a chance to talk to him when I was in Monrovia. We didn't get a chance to meet because he had traveled, but he wanted to see me when he got back. I had to come back right in time. I know VP Borkai, great statesman, honorable man, the rest of the players. But for us to get to a point where we start to tear each other down in the interest or in the mindset to say that I have a stake and I want my candidate to win, or I want my side to win. I think it's sad. I think we should never get to that point. And I think it's just a dark side of our politics that we need to do away with. And I cannot be more stronger on this. I know Jeff. There's been a lot of lies about him. Jeff is no angel. He's not perfect. But there's been all these lies about Jeff Koji. That, he was fighting in the war. Oh, Jeff was this. And Jeff, I care people. And Jeff, listen, we are a country of laws. If there is anybody that have any evidence of Jeff Koji committing any crime, take him to court. If this is the price we pay for living in a democracy. You may have a right to your opinion, but you don't have a right to your own facts. The facts are the facts. So for anybody to be a part of a process to say they want to tear him down or to destroy him, I think it is sad. And the same goes to the other side. There's been a lot of these things happening where people try to tear each other down and bring everybody down, and it is just sad. Some of the folks you see, Jackie, on Facebook, who are pumping their veins and pumping their fists, some of them would never get a chance to talk to some of these political leaders. And they sit and they burn bridges and they're making enemies and they're abusing people. Shame on you. Shame on you, because at the end of the day, I will say this and then I will end on this note. I'm waiting to see what happens after that day in January when whoever gets elected or re-elected take the oath of office. I'm waiting to see what happens on that day, because let me say this: after that day, you will see things. Everybody's supposed to, and then we all just supposed to act like lucky. Everybody's supposed to act like
Right.
none of this thing happened. Everybody's supposed to act like, oh, you didn't just try to damage my reputation. You didn't just try to forget to understand that we have families. People who are in the public space have loved ones who these things hurt. So we need to grow up in our politics and elevate our conversation. But I'm just disgusted at the level of venom, the level of lies, the level of deceit, all in the name of politics. I'm just disgusted about it.
Yeah.
Let me say, let me come. I don't know if you want me to come in
Go
there.
ahead, Ken.
Let me say this. But listen to the tape. I'll refer Larry. Listen to the tape. Um, you hearing guys who came on our common network. They put some that I don't know where they got it from. Some saying that's the evidence on Twitter. Then you listen to the tape, you see them talking the tape that, oh, they're helping you. That's how we do it. We have to do this. We have to hype the story. We have to do this. But but they put up papers or whatever they say that that's the evidence on Twitter. All those things were fake. You have your disagreement with Twitter, fine. The budget is there. If you want to go into the budget and tear the budget apart, you want to talk about it, fine. But when you go out and take fake document and bring it out, then you hear in the tape how they organize with Jerome further there, the whole cabal, how they organize just to bring this thing and out. You're not doing it just only to where you're destroying your nation. You stop investors to come out. They have to go to EcoBank. EcoBank saying, we don't know this account you're talking about. This document you're showing, we don't know this document. Then the tape revealed that all those things were made up. But you know how many of Liberians out there who angry with Twe because they feel that Twe is sending money to an account in Ivory Coast, and they will realize that they fix those things. Larry, sorry, Jackie, I just want to bring him in there if you don't mind. But I think we have to face this thing. Let's discuss the issue. You disagree with 12, fine. You disagree with the budget, fine. You disagree with the president, fine. We will defend our side, you defend your side, the Liberian people decide. But when you go out and fix a fake document and put it on, I remember in the back, Larry, I spoke with Stanton Witherspoon. I told him that, and I will call his name. It's a fact because I'm angry. I told him, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why you bring a fake document?" He used the word to me. I will effing your government. I will lie on them,
He
and
said
I'm
that.
saying, Jackie, upon my
Wow.
children, upon my children.
And Kev, can I
When I
say
said
something?
that, and I'm angry upon my children.
I
I
do
said
want to
that
say
to him. I
something
said,
though.
why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? I even asked him how you sleep at night. It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts. Well, let me tell you some of the things. My guys will say, "Hey, mama, why it hurts? You can't do this." So I'm happy this tape is out
Let
because
me let me
come
ask
out and
something.
say some of these things. People will say, "Oh, you're not there again. You lying. Maybe you make a story." But I'm happy this tape is out. I'm angry. Seriously, you cannot do that to Liberia. There are people who depend on us. There are people who listen to Larry. They depend on his analysis. There are people who listen to you, Jackie, depend on us. But we shouldn't come out and lie. We shouldn't do that.
So
Okay,
Larry,
Larry,
I know Larry,
argument.
I know you're coming in, but I do want to say something, and this is going to be probably my last thought on this, because like I said, there is enough. There's enough things here for us to disagree on. There's enough. I mean, there's when you go to Liberia, there's enough for the opposition to run on. I mean,
Right.
there's a ton.
A lot of policy issues.
Listen, there's 10 containers or 20 or 30, 40, 50 containers full of issues that the opposition can pick and run on. There are tons of things the ruling party can run on and say, listen, this is what we've done. But I repeat what I said. And having been a victim of lies myself, I know exactly what maybe what Kev is saying, what
I think
everybody
we
is,
all have.
what everybody is saying, right? Where people tend to create their own reality, right? And it's sad. It's sad because at the end of the day, people have relationships. Look, people can be married for 50 years. They can decide, they wake up one morning, they turn around, they look at each other and say, listen, what the hell have I been doing here for the last 50 years? Listen, hey, it's not working, let's go. Kudos, we got kids, we're moving forward, right? Sometimes when people move forward, it doesn't mean that there is any venom that has to be there. People don't have to tear each other down. We on this platform, Jackie, before you join this platform, you know what was said. You know things people said to you, right? The very people who are on that audio accuse us of receiving money, right? I decided to take the high road because listen, I know I sleep sound at night. My conscience is clear, but we live in a society that is very gullible. All in the name of trying to distract, all in the name of trying to change the subject line or to change the story. So, oh yeah, they were offered 50,000 and Ben brother went and collected the money. All these foolishness. Look, we have, and let me tell you why I'm saying this.
Right.
There's serious problems in Liberia. People are going to bed hungry. Children are dying. Pregnant women cannot get to hospital. The economy may be growing because according to the data, it grew by 3.7%. But is it growth
That's
without
Larry's area for him to
exactly
analyze for
right?
us.
Is it but there is an honest conversation here of whether it's growth without development, right?
Mm.
We can
Right.
have those conversations. We can challenge the government. We can challenge the powers that be. We can look them in the eye and say, you are screwing up. You are messing up. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. The government has a right to come back and say, we are doing what we're supposed to do. That is the competition of ideas that I'm talking about. But this notion that we have to join the peanut gallery to make up lies and to join the carnival barkers who want to peddle conspiracy theories because they think it brings attention, that attention only lasts for a certain season. But
Right.
let's remember, all of what we do on this internet is called digital footprint. These things will come back to haunt all of us. That's why I tell people, Larry, every time I open my mouth, I am extremely careful what I say. Because you know what? The things we say will come back to haunt us. And these things don't go away. It don't. It will never go away. Somebody 50 years from now, 20 years from now, will be able to type and they will be able to see the things that we have said. But I thought that I just wanted to end on that note because I think it's just sad what our politics has done, has come to.
It has turned out to be very personal, and people go after, and you said it up that we were caught named for certain decisions that we took, and people had were on Facebook for weeks and months, and as if we committed a crime. But anyway, that brings us to our issue here today.
And I think Larry wanted to say
I
something.
think
Yeah, let
Larry
me just say
was.
something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ben actually touched on what I was going to mention in terms of this stuff stays out there. When you say something, it doesn't go away easily. And people need to realize roughly 10 years ago, right, the former agriculture minister, Christopher Toole, who was, I think he was the head of Australia University, when
Yeah.
he had that whole case with Front Page Africa, he said, these things you are saying and printing, it tarnishes, it messes up our reputation and career if we were to go to the US.
Mhm.
So you may be saying something right here thinking that, oh, you're accusing us and doing all this stuff. But if someone decides to go into a background check on us, this thing may not even be true. It will appear. And when it appears, it's extremely hard for you to explain it away. So Ben touched on it. When you say some of these things, you print some of these things, you put it out there, you fail to realize there are companies out there whose specific job is to collect this stuff, keep it. The day you have to go for a security check, whether you need a green card or you want to travel or you need to do some medical thing, if someone were to run your background check, they would see this stuff, they will automatically draw a conclusion that is correct. So it's dangerous. Look, politics is politics. Ben said it best. Let's talk about the issues. Let's talk about prices that are impacting the poor, the inflation, which is a poor man, poor woman's tax. Let's talk about some of those things. I know we like to take jabs at people, it's just our nature. But man, when some of those jabs turn out to be like knives in a person's back, you got to be careful because you not only hurting them, you could also be hurting the family as well. So let's just kind of be a little bit careful with that stuff.
All right. By
Yeah,
the
Doc.
way, before I go to Jackie, we will not be hosting the Jeremiah Combs today. We should have been at 4:30, but there was some other issue that took place. I understand they're having a lit meeting and other things. It did not sit well with us, folks, and they are working. We are working with his communication team to reschedule it. But again, we seeing here there have been some other attack on the outside, especially for closing argument when we started this show. So to all our audience, we just like to say that the Vice President Western Bear, is that he? Jeremiah
The
Koung will
Vice
not be,
Senator Barron, yeah.
yeah, will not
Jeremiah
be,
Coon, Senator
yeah,
Coon.
Senator Koung will not be appearing till sometime next week. We'll let you know, and we'll apologize for that. But everything was set to have him. The team was on their way to his home and all of that, and we got a different information for a reason beyond our control. So with that said, Jackie, let's get into the politics. Let's go.
Okay, well, again, to our viewers and listeners, we would like to once again welcome you to the closing argument. Today is Friday, May 12th, and it's the day after the BVR ended. The biometric voters registration process ended. Ben, did you register while you were there? Yeah, you need to share your experience with us. I don't think where did you register? You registered somewhere.
I registered in Nimba. You know, I do. Listen, one of the things that I've decided to do is I've bought some farmland in 3 counties, and I've been trying to get away from this Morovia. You know, because look, Jackie, I'll be frank with you, right? Morovia is an echo chamber. I mean, it's like the moment you leave from within that small little space. I call it from Red Light to Broad Street, right? For real, you know that stretch from Red Light
Yeah,
right up Snapper Hill.
right.
Once you move from within that place, it's like you're in a whole different country. I'm being honest with you. It's like you're in a whole different country. You
Wow,
drive in the interior, you go. Listen, we spent 3.5 days in Nimba.
wow,
The air tasted different. The people smiled differently. The
wow,
people greet you different. I mean, it's a whole different experience. Monrovia is just so saturated with all this noise and everybody on top of each other here and everybody cussing each other man and everybody worry about who will be the next president and when they're person cussing the other person. It is so what I did was I have some land in Bomi. Originally I was intending to go and register in Bomi if I had made it to the first phase.
right.
But then I couldn't make the first phase. So I made a determination that I do have some farmland also in Saclay, thanks to my friend Musa Ability, who was very instrumental in helping me secure it, find it, secure we talk. I mean, it's a beautiful place, beautiful place. So I went and registered in Nimba because I feel it's important that we elevate the conversation and we start to see. But the process was smooth. I will report the process was very smooth. People were very friendly. The networkers knew what they were doing, and I think it came as a result of experience, right? There were some hiccups in the beginning, and then it got to the point. So it took me less than 5 minutes, to be quite honest with you, because I already had my QR code that I did on the phone. All they did was they took the picture of it. I mean, they scanned it, my information populated, took my picture, and yeah, so I am a registered voter. Looking forward to exercising my franchise. But I will tell you that Liberia is way bigger than Monrovia. I mean, if you go out there, it's just peaceful. You sit under. There's a picture that I have. I would probably see if I put it in the chat room. Well, we're sitting in this I think it's Musa's mother's village, and we're sitting under a plum tree. I mean, eating fresh, organic German plum.
Picking the plum from the
Picking the
tree.
plum from the
There's
tree.
nothing like that feeling.
I'm telling you, Jackie, those little things make you
Man,
appreciate.
then start rubbing it in, man. Start rubbing it in, man.
Yeah, it make you appreciate it. But yeah, but that's to answer the question. Yeah, so I did get registered
I
in.
mean, start rubbing it in, man.
Yeah,
That 2 days you spend in by you want all of that.
it was amazing. It was amazing. We had a great time. We had a great time. I mean, and I'm making my duty. Now, every time I go to Liberia, I'm gonna spend about 40% of my time outside of that noise.
Outside,
Outside of that noise. I'm being honest with you. Morovia makes you go crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
it does. And I'm not even gonna have my
I
head.
believe that.
Yeah.
And and I'm amazed why people who can afford it don't have homes outside of Monserrato County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that we need to start doing. You have your main home if you work in Monserrato County, Larry. That you build. It helps even with the economic. portion of it, and to empower those villages, those towns where you build your little home in your little town or whatever town you pick, and go outside of Monserrato County on vacation, a weekend, 2 days, just a breath of fresh air. We need to be appreciative more of those areas, even though, yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of technology, but just the peace. It's so surreal when you out there, in those different areas. Larry, what are your thoughts about getting outside of that Monrovia area?
Jackie, the thing that a lot of Liberians take for granted, other people in other countries find it as exotic, and they pay a lot of money to experience that
That's
stuff.
true.
We just haven't come to realize it yet. One out of every 7 jobs out there, according to the World Tourism Council, is in tourism. And people don't need, you see, I mean, we do need some services, but we don't need exotic services. Are you aware that Airbnb, that people are paying good money to go and sleep in caskets?
What? Say that
Oh,
one more time.
yeah, I'm telling you, girl. Listen,
What?
people
What?
on
Yeah, say that one
Airbnb,
more time, Larry.
there are
Rerun that.
Airbnb out there that will allow
Uh-huh.
you to rent a casket,
What?
Uh-huh.
and people pay good money for that. We take for
Wow.
granted the tropical rainforest, the fresh fruit, like Ben just said, the air out there. It's not the air like I know Doc, you from Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
and when you driving in Jersey, there's a sign that says Jersey don't stink. There's a lot of chemical stuff manufacturing going on in
Yeah.
Jersey.
Right.
But the air outside of Monrovia was meant for, I think, maybe about a quarter of a million people. I think we have 4 times the number of people in Monrovia. That's why it's so overly populated. But if we can learn to take tourism outside in the counties, they got tourism that deals with people just want to see what village life is all about. So people need to go down and check out Robertsport. When the late Anthony Bourdain went to Liberia, where did he go? He went to Robertsport. He was fascinated. I was down there with the former chief of staff of Rudy Giuliani. This man was begging us to see Marshall. And when he went to Marshall, he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He was like, "Man, we can bring yacht in here with tourists. We can bring people in here who want to go fishing. We want to catch a barracuda and things like that." He said, "We can pull all those things right in here, right into Monrovia." So Ben just experienced it. He's telling us what is capable out there. Somehow we haven't figured out how to make tourism attractive to all these people. That people don't want to go to parts of Europe where all these shootings and bombings and all that nonsense is going on. Look at what's going on in Israel right now between the Israeli and Palestinian. They want to go
Right.
somewhere a little bit quiet. So yeah, Ben, I mean, I envy you. It sounds like you had a great time. Kudos to
Great
you.
time.
But that's an opportunity right there for us to kind of sell Liberia. So let's see what happens.
You
I
know,
love it.
there's a country that I just can't picture over my head, but it was just I just watched an interview, and the president was on BBC, and they talk about there are about 100,000 in Africa, but they live on tourism, and they were saying that even the per
It's probably
capita
Seychelles. Probably
Yeah,
Seychelles.
that's
themselves,
what I was
that
thinking, Ben.
that
Seashells.
they are now they have one of the
And it's one of the richest countries too.
countries in Africa that per capita is about $10,000,
Yep.
and tourism and fishery. That's all they do, and they are one of the richest countries in Africa. He said
Yes,
that
it
the
is.
tourism is it's just moving, it's booming and booming so much until now they are trying to deal with certain certain people, certain millionaire who will be going in there because they want to control certain area and things like that. I mean, and it's in Africa. Can you imagine?
I remember a story when I first went back home. I think probably a year or so later. This was several years ago, and there were some guests that were hosting, and one of the guests happened to be the Hollywood star Renee Zellweger. So we told her that her group that were taking her to Wookie Farm, Mayure Farm. They spend their time in Monrovia Royal Hotel and what have you. And so we told them we're taking them to the farm. When they arrived at Wookie Farm, I mean, that sad look on her face. And I'm like, what happened? She said, I'm disappointed. I really thought I was coming to a village because I was looking forward to spending the night and experiencing a village life. I wanted to sleep outside in a tent, that tent environment where you have bonfire, where you can pick from the trees and stuff like that. She said I was so looking forward to it. And now you guys brought me, I gotta sleep in the cottage with air conditioning. She said that's not much different from Morovia, you know.
People
So,
pay good money for that experience. I was talking to
yes.
a guy, a professor over in Hawaii. He wanted to do, he wanted to build some houses on stilts. There's a name for it. And he said he had a lot of people that were in Hawaii. I'm like, Hawaii? He said, yeah, there's a lot of people out here that wants to come to Monrovia, to come to Liberia and build these type of houses. So the opportunity is there. Tourism is great opportunity for Liberia for several reasons. Number one, we don't have the education level to bring high tech companies to Liberia, right? We don't have the technical know-how, even though we're in the information or past the information age now. But we do have a lot of manpower and women power that can we can train them in sort of the like courtesy. I don't know. There's a name for it where they're providing services to tourists and things like that. We can train those young people to do that stuff. That doesn't require a whole lot of skill. That's one way to reduce the unemployment rate, and that's another way to take money into the village that has about 70% of the population that is poor. So that's something to really, really kind of work at. And like Ben said early on, Kev mentioned it too, that if we start talking some of the nasty things we talk about Liberia, people will not come.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Ben said, let's talk about some of the issues to see how people who want to be president and lead this country can make this transformation and create jobs. So
So
Absolutely.
there
So
you go. That's why.
we see
Ben,
the
but
photo of Ben.
like,
We see the photo of Ben.
You
Ben
see,
is
I
at
got black.
Sacramento.
You
To
got that
all our
chocolate plate?
viewers and listeners, look, today is Free Form
Ben
Friday.
got
We
10.
are relaxed
I got
today.
my tan. I got my tan from the Nimba
Ja-
sun.
Jackie, Jackie, let me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you permit me. Let's leave that the land Ben talking about in Nimba, that Ben house behind there. That's what Ben want to hear.
No,
You see, that Ben house
no,
there.
I
no,
So
heard Ben
Hey,
need
he
to
Kev,
has
move
a
rooms.
that house doesn't
that
look
Ben
Ben need
bad
to
though.
move, man.
don't
that Ben
mind
house
it. Don't
there.
mind. That was
That Ben
the. That
house
was
in
the.
Nimba. Just
That,
leave.
that was the.
But but
So the studio to show you the hustle now, showing the whole hustle.
yeah, that Ben house there. That Ben house
Yeah,
there.
y'all be
That
no,
Ben
but
compound there.
in all fairness, let me send a shout out to the next staff. They were very gracious. In fact, they knew us. They knew when we
Uh-huh.
got there. They knew us very well. That building down there is where they did the registration. It's in a little corner somewhere in Encyclopedia. But it was an amazing experience, man. Larry, Jackie, I'm telling y'all, in the evening, look, Chairman Ability, I will give him kudos. I mean, the man is doing a lot of things up there in Encyclopedia. I mean, all the roads. I mean, he's installing close to 1,800 solar lights in the. I mean, he's turned the place upside down in a positive way. Got a chance to in the evening roast a goat. Listen.
So they got food in that place now. They got food.
Wow.
So we got there,
Why you
Jackie,
say? Why you
and the
say?
first thing I said was, I said, look, tonight I want to have barbecue, right? I just want to have barbecue tonight. And he was like, say no more. The guys went collected the chicken. I mean, live
Wow.
chicken. Collected the chicken, kill one goat. I mean, we have Tommy. Oh my God! Ask Tommy. He almost killed himself. We had a great time drinking palm wine.
Wow.
It was just refreshing. And
Wow.
for a moment, I thought I was like, you know what? Can you guys just keep me here for away from all that noise in Monrovia? But it was an
Interesting.
amazing experience, and
Nice.
But but
I do intend to construct something there in Encyclopedia. I do have some land in Marshall also, bombing, like I said, and then I have some farmland in Todi. I've been doing a lot of investment when it comes to farmland because I think that's where the future is when it comes to agriculture and tourism in our country. And that's one of the fuss that I have with this government. And Kev, we've talked about this. I've said this to the president privately, to the minister of finance, all of them. I think they have not exploited the potential. Look, I said something the other day, guys. We have George Weah, who is the president of Liberia. He is the best soccer icon out of Africa, right? You can't even argue that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing you can say about him.
Right.
Liberia should be a football mecca. Liberia should be a football mecca. You have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, first female to become president, democratically elected president on the continent of Africa, a global icon. Time 100 people, whatever awards Ellen didn't win, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, Lima Bowie, all of those. Liberia should be a mecca for women leadership. Every women's conference held on the African continent should be held in Liberia. People should be paying thousands of dollars to go to Jilajua to see where Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was born. People should be
That's true.
paying thousands of dollars to go to Claratown to see the soccer pitch that George Weah played football on. Again, these things don't happen in abstract. They're not magic. It's innovation. Is the government putting a team together, set up an investment board. The National Investment Commission needs to get up its behind, rebrand the country. What is Liberia known for? I asked the other day. I was
Even the
coming.
Nelson Mandela House, that's in
Exactly. But that's
Chinatown.
what I'm leaning to, Jackie. That's what I'm saying. People pay thousands of dollars to go to South Africa to see where Nelson Mandela was born. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is a
Do we
global
even have
icon.
his passport? Larry, do you know if we have Nelson Mandela passport anywhere? Is it in the museum? A
It's probably
Liberian
the
passport.
Liberian passport is probably in the museum somewhere in South Africa. So my point is, and right before Larry come in, what I'm saying is, I hope whatever happens after 2023, we get a little bit more serious on the issue of rebranding our country. I was on Brussels Airline and I saw a video. I saw a promotional clip of the Gambia. I saw a promotional clip of Togo. I saw
Ghana.
What is Liberia promotional clip? Where?
No, they have.
What are we known for? The
Yeah.
Gambia is called the Smiley Coast of West Africa. What is Liberia? What is our identity? These things are not magic. It is innovation. It's people getting up and saying, you know what, we're going to be intentional, we're going to be deliberate, and we're going to be able to change our country's story.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, well, Jackie, let me say this. I listened to all this
Go
very
ahead, you,
interesting.
Dr. Peabody, and then
Yeah, yeah,
Larry.
interesting video coming out of Ganta with Chemability, with
Uh-huh.
Charlene Bronskin, and what we're
Oh,
hearing they are reaching uh, the, uh, uh, the conclusion. This is what we're saying. There's an
oh,
interesting video
breaking
coming
news.
out. Yes, what we're seeing and what we're hearing, the kisses, the
Oh,
hug.
the ability. Was that he hugging Charlene? Was that
Yes,
Charlene?
yes.
Oh, so
I'm
what's
not.
going
I'm
on?
not saying that that's the pick, but what coming out of Ganta is interesting right now. Ganta
Wow.
is hot right now, and Charlene seems to be the topic of Ganta. Somebody posed and called other names. Mariah Yakula came out with a picture under that post with Charlene, and she said, "We are in Ganta."
Wow.
Back to you guys, Larry. What happening from
Wait
Ganta?
a minute,
Something
wait a
happening
minute,
in
wait a
Ganta as we
minute.
speak.
I see a lot of lights in the back there.
Yes,
But
Those
that's
something
the
those
happening in
hotel.
neon
Ganta.
lights.
That's the
Yes.
Which
hotel.
hotel is that? Is
I
that
think it's
Jackie?
Jackie's guest house.
Oh,
Oh no,
Jackie's
Ganta,
guest.
Listen, you gotta give it to the people of Nimba.
Oh yeah.
They are doing their
They
thing.
got some
Trust
good
me.
stuff there.
And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm from the ruling party, but Musa Ability is doing a magic in Ganta.
Yeah.
Something happening in
But
Ganta.
let me, but before Larry come in, let me say this. I've been one of the things that we did a lot in Monrovia when I was there was all of this. Obviously, I'm the chair of the advisory council of the Liberty Party, so we've been. I was on the phone with them
That's the picture
earlier.
I'm talking about. That
Yeah.
Mariah put. They
And
say we
and
are
and
in
listen,
Ganta.
I can
Oh
confidently
Ben,
say,
that's the CPP VSB right there.
well, I can confidently say I'm not going to make any. I'm not going to make any
Come on,
announcement
Ben. Come
here.
on.
We're not
Come
going
on,
to.
break the news for us.
I'm not going to break any news, but let me say that I can go as far as saying this.
But she's
Except,
there, right? She's one of the two.
oh no, no, listen, Charlene. Listen, I'm so proud of Charlene. I'm so proud of her. I had a conversation with her yesterday morning, and we had our little moment on the phone where we cried, and I was telling her how proud I am for Charlene to even be a front runner being discussed as a potential vice standard bearer of a major political party in Liberia, I'm sure Councillor Bromsky is smiling in his grave today. Because I reminded her of a story, Jackie. I remember how hard we fought to get
Right.
Bromsky to let his daughter campaign for him, for him. Oh, I remember I went out one day somewhere in Barnersville with Charlene on the campaign trail, and I saw the reaction of the people towards Charlene. I saw how people resonate. I saw how they connected with her. And I was national chair of the party. My job was to win an election. So what you do, Larry, that you're a political junkie, you see your potential asset. You say, you know what? There goes one of my A's in the hole, right? I need to use her. So I go to the standard bearer and I say with the standard bearer, we got to get Charlene out there. And the father in him immediately, Papa Bear came out. No, no, you're not exposing my daughter. In fact, I told you not to take my daughter anywhere. And I was reminding her, I said, Charlene, you remember what you did? Charlene was in the other office next door, sitting like a little girl, waiting for us to go and beg her dad because she wanted to go out there so much. And
Right.
we literally convinced him and told him, and we said, listen, even in a limited capacity, but we need Charlene out there. We need the people to see her. So what I'm seeing right now, or what the world is seeing right now, is what we saw. And I'm just honored to have been a part of her story, having a front row seat in her rise. And I will say this, except something catastrophic or gargantuan or gigantic happen tomorrow, I have a copy of the CPP convention program in my possession. There is a line on that program where Mr. Cummings will be nominating his vice standard bearer. So
Tomorrow?
tomorrow, except something happens, and I like to leave the caveat
Yeah,
because the thing about politics, Jackie, on the convention floor, anything that happens yeah, you
But
gotta
Wow.
yeah.
but
Except something happens,
Right.
there will be what they call a fixer two. There will be fixer two
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. And
but
and
you,
let me say it publicly. I am praying that that person is Charlene Brumskin because
but
I'm telling you, Liberia, the political landscape in Liberia. You know, Chairman Billete said when we announced our running mate, the ground would shake. I
yeah.
think he knew what he was saying. If Charlene is named tomorrow, I can tell you it's going to be this election is. You know how they can say, "Let's get ready to rumble." That's what's gonna do. That's what's
But,
gonna do.
but before Larry comes in,
Can they put the
you,
video back up because
you know,
for our viewers listening again, welcome viewers. Today is Free Flow Friday. I want Ben to expand more. So this is not Liberty Convention. This is the CPP
So,
convention. Is that correct? And when did it start? Give
so,
us some
so the two
information.
parties, ANC and Liberty Party, are having joint conventions, individual conventions, right? The
Okay.
Liberty Party is having an individual convention. The ANC is having an individual convention.
At
And
the
then
same
tomorrow,
location?
yeah, well, in two different locations, right?
Okay.
But they're in the same
Okay.
city.
Okay.
Tomorrow, the CPP, which brings together the Liberty Party and the ANC, will
Okay.
be having their convention
A
where
joint
Cummings,
convention.
yes, where the joint convention where Cummings will be nominated as the presidential candidate, and then he will go on to nominate his vice standard bearer, who I am praying all of this world that my sister gets the nod. But I'm so proud of her. I mean, just looking at her and cold bomb is all on my skin because I know how hard she working.
Yes, stop.
I
Somebody
know
please
Larry
stop.
on the other side, but
Somebody please stop Ben, man.
it's not surprising here. 4 months ago, when we were on our other network, and they were talking about VP pick, there were three people that I named. One of them was Charlene Brunskin, Lema Bowie, I think Yomli Koung. So seeing that today, I think I'm very proud. That she's in the race. I mean that talking about female, that you can take a female from that and stuff like that. We need more women involvement in
In
Liberia. And
politics and leadership.
Charlene will bring a lot of quality to any political party. As a vice tenor bearer. I mean, what else? She possesses all the quality you can talk about. She's uh, 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 She's a lawyer. She eloquent. She knows the issue. And a young politician. A lot she's going to learn. But I think she will be a great representation. And coming from Vassar, myself, want bringing us close to the presidency. I think I will be proud as well.
Wow.
I
That's
mean,
that's
I'm looking forward to that debate. Let
It's
Larry
not
come.
it's not an endorsement. I'm just proud of my
I'm
Vassar
looking forward to
sister.
that. Let
You know?
Larry come in. I know Larry supports. Larry, you support the Unity Party. I know
Yeah.
that. You support VP Buckeye, correct?
I suppose somebody out there, but let's not talk about that right now.
Oh no, Sarah, because I thought you endorsed him. I'm sorry. I thought.
Larry.
But
Everybody's been saying you're JMB man.
Yeah.
I know, right? But Doc pretty much mentioned what I was going to say as well. I'm glad in a country where we have a little more than 50% of the population of women are getting some representation at this level. Charlene has about three really good things going for her. She's highly intelligent. You haven't, I mean, her name is not being dragged out there in anything cynical or the mud or anything. So her
Right.
reputation has been intact all along. And I mean, similar to like Kamala Harris, with that lawyer background, Charlene is right up there. I mean, we haven't heard her discuss uh, a lot of critical issues. I haven't heard it. Maybe some people have heard it, but I think it would be an opportunity to hear from her. So Charlene has several good things going for her, right? Her name is known. That was the third thing I was going to mention. It's not like she's someone who just dropped out of space. The Brumskin name is well known. So she has several things going for her. So it would be an opportunity. Hopefully, let ANC put this whole matter to bed with all the speculation. Let them just go ahead and select who their VSP is. Let come out there and let put this show on the road. Let's start the conversation. I would love to see VPs debating. I
Oh
think
yeah.
that should probably be the next conversation, right? I
Yeah.
know Ben is salivating on that one because he knows.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh
I know.
man. Listen,
But
it's gonna be one of fireworks, Larry. Imagine Joa Howard Taylor. Imagine Joa Howard Taylor, Charlene Brumskin, Jeremiah Koung. I mean, I think there's other people who will come. But just imagine those three people standing on that debate
it'll be
stage.
interesting. It'll be interesting. But you
Interesting.
see, that should be the next conversation. We should start discussing now presidential and vice presidential debates. Because we
Oh
know
yeah.
the last time, a few people jumped over the wall and never showed up, but I'm not going to go there.
What
So,
Kev? Let Kev come.
yeah, I'll wait for him to come back so I can mention it.
And he's likely to jump over the wall again this year.
No,
This
no. The
guy will put
president.
a chain on his ankle.
I think I asked the president this question, and I believe he said he's going to be debating this year.
Are you
I
serious?
listen. I'm
Wow.
telling you. I asked him personally. I said, "Are you going to be looking?" He said, "I'm looking forward to debating VP Buckeye and Alexander Cummings." He told me that personally. So
What?
so
Okay, that's another breaking news
we'll
for the
see.
Liberian people. Where Kev at? Where Kev? Come on, Kev.
Don't buy it. Don't buy Kev. Kev. But in all fairness, like, Larry, you said something, and I do want to nip something in the bud because I've seen it started to creep his head, and I've been reading some of it on Facebook. And this, we're on a big platform. People are listening to us in the country. I've started seeing people talk about potential, that the Congo ticket and that the this and that, and it just let's just nip it in the bud immediately. That those who will tend to preach that kind of politics are small-minded people, people who don't have anything to stand on to debate the issues. I think we have transcended that politics in our country. Anybody who's trying to divide and tear our country apart with this country Congo native craziness, I think it is wrong. I think the people who have been picked. Vice President Joe Buckeye has served his country. He has a solid record that he can run on. Jeremiah Cohn, Jerry is a good friend of mine. I think he's been a great senator for Nimba County. I disagree with him on a lot of other things, but I think he will hold his own. And so does Charlene, like you said, Larry, solid young woman. Did you listen? I mean, I encourage people to go on YouTube and listen to Charlene's speech when she got admitted into the Supreme Court bar. She deuced the bar. She deuced the Supreme Court bar of Liberia, like her father did years ago. And she was the one who delivered the speech at that bar, and there was not a dry eye in that hall. I'm talking about from the vice president of Liberia, who got admitted into the bar also that day, to the chief justice. There was a point where, because people cannot clap or cheer in the Supreme Court, it's against the law. I mean, it's against the rule. But this girl was speaking, and there was a moment where people started to clap, and everybody had to catch themselves. So I'm telling you, she's a solid She's a solid. She's tough as nails. And like you said, Larry, you could be looking at Liberia's Kamala. I mean, she can debate the issues, and I'm just proud. Listen, I'm coming from a biased
Your
perspective here.
wife's a lawyer. I mean,
You know,
and look,
I'm very biased in this process. And can you imagine what I'm going to be going through? Because Jewel Taylor is like a mother to me. She's my mother. Then I got Charlene. I mean, it's just going to be a mess.
look,
I'm just going to be a mess.
Yeah,
Listen, listen.
I mean, Ben,
I'm
how
going
are
to be
you
a
going to
mess.
manage
I'm
juggling
just,
that? Because your
I'm
mom is
just
somewhere
excited.
else.
Well,
I'm excited
well,
that
uh,
from Vassar, from where I'm from, that I have somebody who will represent her to the fullest. This girl is, man, her interpersonal skills are excellent. I mean, she will meet you for the first time, and the warm spirit that she brings is like you just feel attached to her right away, and that's how I did, And I was going to be very biased. I told her, I said, look, that representative running for, I would support you, and stuff like that. I'm really happy that she's should be a if she is selected to be the vice standard bearer. I think it brings a lot to Liberia, and not even if Mr. Cumming wins or not, but to be in the history, she will be in history as one of the youngest vice standard bearer that were brought up in the Liberian election 2017, creating that for women in the world. So I'll be really proud of her, and also Grand Bassa as well. At least we got somebody now who the other people passed over us, but at least we got somebody that will represent our content.
Yeah, yeah. Jackie didn't
Jackie
pass.
done pass over our content.
The count is still there,
well,
strong
Exactly.
well,
in our
uh,
nest.
I'll
But
tell
this is
you guys.
amazing. You now, if that's the case, that means we're gonna have two very young VP
Yep.
candidates in the race so far,
Yes,
Yes.
and that's going to be very interesting. And two people who, I mean, they have very interesting backgrounds. When you look at their personal career growth, their professional career growth, I mean, it's it this year. I mean, the way things are unfolding in terms of the selection process in politics this year, the candidates that we have,
exactly.
it is very very interesting this year. Very
After
very
Kev, I want to
interesting.
say something.
Let,
After Kev.
Uh-huh.
okay, let me say this. Um, uh, you guys from the opposition black, Charlene from the opposition black against ruling party. But I had the opportunity to have discussion with Charlene several times. We
Okay.
went to Liberia. She came around.
Mm-hmm.
I had some one-on-one discussion,
Right.
um, and she's a brilliant woman. She's a brilliant woman. Charlene is one of Liberia uh, writers, and is an asset for Liberia. I
Mm-hmm.
disagree with her politics. We will go into that later in a later date. But I think it's she's one of, like Ben Sanvee said. I remember when she do her class, I sent her a text to congratulate her. She's one of our best, one of our best. That I can say that clearly, you know. But to see that if she gonna be the vice running mate to JMB, to see that Cummings choose her, I will congratulate the Cummings team for
Mm-hmm.
looking on the side of a woman, for a woman, because I think our women need to be up there. They need to be up there. Our sisters. The reason I say this, I will keep calling Larry name. The reason I say this, I do have a daughter. Charlene are one of the people I would say I would talk to my daughter about. Yes, she's a lawyer. She does her class. Yes, I would take my daughter into Charlene home. I would take Charlene into my daughter home. Yes, I would do that. Yes, I would do that. So when you choosing your running mate, um, it only gotta be somebody with qualities. Like for example, the VP to the president, George Taylor. She's a lawyer. She's a smart woman. She's a smart woman. Because some of us have a daughter. we have to embrace it. So I'm going beyond politics right now. What I'm trying to say here is that, Charlene, I disagree with politics, but I think this is what Liberia needs for us to debate. For the debate, she one of our brightest. You can you can disagree with brown skin, but to see Charlene, the daughter of Bromskin, tells you that Bromskin, what he did in his life, you can salute him. You can say he's a good guy that created a good family. So
Yeah.
let's look at politics and congratulations if that's the case to Charlene. And the reason I say that because we were talking about blackmailing, right? I spoke with Charlene. She said a lot of good things that happen in the country. She's a lot of good things. I spoke with her. We uh uh imagine we met at the mansion uh where they had the Ben
The
when we went
bicentennial. The
bicentennial. Sorry, thank you for the bicentennial. When we met, she put me on the side and at the mansion we started to talk on issues. You want to deal with the opposition that will recognize the good. If there's anything that they're against, they talk about it, but not people who want to fake and create situation. And that's
So
and that's why I will congratulate her and let the fight begin. I disagree with her politics. I know I will go tough on her and I will attack that ticket, but I
you
will
say you
attack
attacked the
I will,
ticket.
but I will attack the ticket based on policy,
No,
based
no, no.
on
I
policy.
know that's what you meant. I know that's what you
Yeah,
meant. But
based
I
on
see the smile
policy.
on Ben's face. Like what? So
Based on politics.
Fanny
That's how it's supposed to
Charlene,
Saki,
be,
who
right?
Who
Charlene
has been
is
one of
a
our
very
guest
good and decent
panelists, he
woman.
wants to come in for 10 minutes to
Who?
talk about the Fanny Saki. He wants to
Uh,
come in for 10 minutes to contribute to what we're talking about right now, the Liberty part, the Charlene, VP Peak. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Larry, go
You
ahead. You
start
done,
with
Kev? Kev, are you done?
yeah,
So
yes, I'm
Larry,
done.
yeah,
I'm done.
Larry, and then
Mhm.
So, so you see, you're like a Kev hard time for nothing because Kev might be saying a lot of good stuff and you don't even listen to the man. You don't give
And
Kev. But Kev
and
is
just
right
because
because
you
I have
hear,
a
don't go ahead.
daughter.
And just because you
He,
hear, Larry.
right
And
there,
just,
right? I have a daughter, Kev
he
myself, and
behaving himself
interestingly,
because he see
her
you here.
name is
That all.
Jackie.
you what? What did you say, Larry?
My daughter, I have a daughter who's working towards a law degree, and her name is
Oh,
Jackie. So
oh,
when
okay.
Kev said that, yeah. So you can, it's good to see young, bright women within the Liberian community being elevated. And that's what we're supposed to do because, like, when people saw Kamala Harris in that position, this is something that have never been pictured in the United States, right? You come
Exactly.
from a society where you have someone like Emmett Till, who just by looking at a white woman, guy was killed. Tend to see what happened with the whole case with Brown versus Board education here in the U.S. To see young black women now elevated, looking at Michelle Obama as a first lady, then eventually looking at Kamala Harris and seeing that you can have the same type of transformation in Liberia by putting young, bright, nationalist women at top level in within the society, so that young women then see that and say, okay, if she can do that, well, I can
I
do
can
that
do
as
it
well.
too.
Exactly. So it gives opportunity. It creates a future for a lot of the young women. So, like the president of Ghana, when he was speaking one time, he said, "Look, we shouldn't just believe that all of our young girls are meant to be in the kitchen cooking and feeding the men. That's not what they're here for. Let's put them in the office. Let's put them in universities to teach. Let's make them executives." So I mean, Kev is right. Let's discuss on the politics side. We discuss the politics on the issues, but I wouldn't. I don't think anyone should feel comfortable trying to drag any woman's name through the mud in politics just for politics' sake. it makes the entire country look bad, right? So I think it's something we just need to be careful for. But look, that's just me, and that's just some of us here. But that wouldn't stop some of the knuckleheads out there
Oh my
from just being
they've
idiots.
already started. They've already
Yeah,
started
yeah.
with
And
nonsense.
you talk about the native Congo thing.
Yeah,
I don't
I think we
understand.
need to discourage that.
No,
I
it's
really
serious,
don't
serious.
I don't like to hear anything about native Congo.
Yeah,
When people ask me what my tribe, I really don't tell them because
yeah.
for me, I am a Liberian. Period.
People,
So
End
you
of
people,
see,
story.
Jackie, I
yes,
want to say
people,
something quickly before
yeah.
we go in. I sent a picture. I want to. And you're talking about something, Larry, and I hope the guys can put that picture up for me. They talk about
Man, it's such a powerful picture. They need
it's
to
all
put
about
it out there.
symbolism, right? The symbolism
Yeah.
of sometimes the things we do. We can go as far as Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We can even talk about George Weah, right? George Weah being coming from the slum, and that's one of the fault again that I have on a lot of his people. So that if you look, hopefully the picture come up. You see,
Gotcha.
that's the picture of my two daughters. That was the
Okay.
day. That was the day
I think that
Kamala
feast
Harris
prize, will you?
was getting inaugurated. That was the
That
day.
was a day. Who?
The day Joe Biden and
Yeah,
Kamala Harris were
it's
being
on the
inaugurated.
right. Sange, when you get in to the
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Peabody,
If you
mute
know,
yourself. Mute yourself. Yeah. So it happens. It happens. It happens. We are family people. So, but no, I thought that was important that I sent that picture because I
That
remember.
extremely important.
Yeah, and I remember they were watching it, and I took it without them even knowing that they were
Right.
watching it. We were watching, and it shows the symbolism, right? Of these girls looking at not just another woman, but a black woman, someone that looks like them.
Yep.
Now I too can be vice president. I too can be president.
The
You
astronaut.
breaking yeah, you're breaking that glass ceiling. It happened when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became president of Liberia. You saw the entire world stood up. Again, like I said, George Weah, say all you want to say. You disagree with George Weah politics. A young man from the slum, from Gibraltar, rising up. What message did it send to those young people in the slum? That my dreams are not limited to this dirt football field. If I work hard, if I do the things that I need to do, I too can be president, right? You can go on. There are many people in this world that we should be able to inspire our young people to say, this is what it means. The same thing happened with Barack Obama and stuff like that. So I thought it was important for us to share that picture. It was such a proud moment for me when I saw my daughters looking at that picture. The thing I wanted to say though, Jackie, is how interesting it has been that the two major opposition candidates, if Charlene gets picked, right? If Charlene gets picked, there will be two vice standard bearers who came out of nowhere. No one expected. Contrary to what, let's think about this. Think about this conversation, Jackie. 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago,
Their names were not in
there
the
was
picture.
no talk of Jeremiah Cohn. There
No
was
talk
no
of
talk of
Charlene.
Charlene Brumskin. I mean, the names that people were talking about, it just tells you how politics is not static.
Right.
It's dynamic. It's fluid. It's based on the timing. It's based on the issues. It's based on the temperature of the day. And I believe if Charlene gets the nod, she will help Cummings. She will help Cummings in ways that Cummings is lacking, right? There are people who think Mr. Cummings is an introvert. Charlene is more considered a people person. She's somebody
She
who,
is. She is. I know
everybody,
Charlene. She always got a
yeah,
smile on her
she
face.
always got a smile on her
She's
face.
engaging.
She won't hug
Always
everybody.
engaging.
By the time she see you, she's about to give you a big hug, right? She's a woman. She's a young woman. She will excite the young people. A lot of these young women who look at her, I know for sure she's a mentor to a lot of these young women out there. Imagine what powerful of a message that will send. And like Peabody said, win or lose, there's certain battles you enter. You may lose the seat, but you may win the war. Or you may win the seat and you may end up losing the war. But it's how you carry yourself. But like Kev said, man, I think I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tomorrow. I'm looking forward to listening to what Mr. Cummings is going to be holding the country hostage tomorrow, like JMB held the country hostage for 2 months. He's going to be holding the country hostage. We're going to wait to see what he says tomorrow. But I can tell you, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very, very exciting. And I look forward to us centering the ball finally, and let's start having these debate, these policy issues, these policy debates for our people to be able to make the kind of decision that they need to make.
One thing I know that's going to be very interesting is going to be the VP debates. Oh my God, closing argument needs to host one.
Of
So
course,
we need to push for that and
I can
make
confirm.
sure.
I can
And
confirm.
Larry, you're
Bring
going
it
to be
more.
right there
We,
on
we,
the economics part.
I can confirm that we will. Listen, let me say that I'm putting her on the record. If
Uh-huh.
Charlene is the nominee, if Charlene gets the nod, her first interview will be on this platform. We will ask her the tough questions. Is she ready for prime time? There are people who think she's not. This is not running for senator. This is not running for representative. This is running for the vice presidency of the country. You are a heartbeat away from the presidency, right? Is she ready for a prime time? I know she is. I mean, I'm biased, like I said. I think that day I would just sit in the back and watch and marvel. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I was looking forward to my brother Jeremiah Koung coming today, but I understand he will be here sometimes early next week so that we can have a very frank discussion about it. And then I can also confirm that the vice president has accepted that she will be willing to come on the closing argument at the right time. So if we get the two VP from the opposition, we will be bringing the vice president of Liberia to who happens to be the vice standard bearer of the ruling coalition. So
Yeah, the VSB Jeremiah Kuhn will have to follow up to get. I know definitely he's coming, but the exact time we are not sure yet. But definitely the commitment is there where he's going to be coming. They're going to go through his schedule and work with the communication team, the media team, and then schedule him in so that he can come on the closing argument sometime very very soon. So Larry, did you want to say something, Dr. Peabody, or
Yeah, Larry,
is
go ahead.
Yeah, let me say something real quick.
okay?
Yeah, I'll swing it over to you, Doc, in a second. Let me say something real quick. So, despite all of the good, nice things we're saying right now, you know there will still be some craziness out there that will start attacking Charlene. It's going to happen, right? Look, for example, anyone know why the former Reverend Jesse Jackson, who had a show on CNN years ago, why he disappeared? The reason he disappeared back in 2008 when Obama was running as a senator, he didn't realize that he had a microphone, a
and a
hot
hot mic,
mic,
a hot mic
and he
moment.
says he did, and he said some nasty things about President Obama, and it got picked up. And right after that, CNN dropped him. So here was a black man, a reverend, who stood. He said some. I can't even repeat what he said, but he said some nasty things about another black man who was trying to elevate to the presidency. So while we have Charlene Brumskin, we're talking all the niceties. There's going to be some women out there. There's going to be some other people out there that's going to say some nasty things about her. And it's important just how Senator McCain, when he was running for the presidency, and that crazy woman stood up and said President Obama was
Yep.
you remember,
A
a
Muslim?
Yeah,
Muslim,
yeah.
and all kind of craziness. And then setting politics aside, John McCain shot her down.
He's a good
We
man.
would need people to have some courage to
Definitely.
Yep.
shoot down some of the knuckleheads who would be propagating some of this nasty, racist, tribalist
Yep.
stuff. So just
And,
want you
and,
guys
and,
to be
and
prepared for that.
Larry,
Larry,
and Larry, that is why, and that's why I'm so excited, and I'm so happy that you finally, because me
Oh,
and you had
what
connected in the
happened to?
beginning. Me and you had connected in the beginning. I was trying to reach out to you in the beginning, and then I kind of dropped the ball. But I'm so happy that you ended up here, because that was the vision around the closing argument. The vision, if you listen to if you see our logo, it says bringing you substance and not conspiracy theories, because our space have become so crowded with the foolishness, I mean, and there's no other way. There's no other way, Larry, to describe this but foolishness. Everybody seems to be on this horse where you just say anything you want to say, and you just think you can spew anything you want to spew. And because, quote unquote, they say we have a gullible society, that it's going to stick. But what I do believe is that Like Obama said, when moderate voices take the back seat, that's when extremism takes hold. And that's why we have to fight back. That's why we have to fight back. Because we have to create an environment where a Jeremiah Koung can come here and feel comfortable that Keff Hassan, who is a diehard supporter of the ruling party, will respect him, will
Exactly.
respect his views. We will ask the tough questions, but he will respect his views. And in the end, he's a Liberian, and he may be his vice president one day. He may
Exactly.
be, right? That somebody, Charlene or the vice president of Liberia can come here, and Jackie can ask her the tough questions. And Larry can ask her. That is what our politics should be about. Again, like I said, the crazies are out there, and we know them. But because at the end of the day, crazy sell, sometimes people get a chance. And I say it all the time, Jackie, people sometimes tune into these things just for entertainment. A lot of people going through stress. A lot of people want to laugh. I spoke to somebody the other day and were telling me, say, I go there just to laugh. Because
Right.
some of the things that I said, you can't even begin to comprehend that these things are being said. But again, I think we have a responsibility to elevate the discussion, and that is what we are committed to doing here. So, Larry, I'm so excited that you are, you are here, and we consider you a part of the team. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can continue to join us. And exactly what you said. I mean, one of the things that's killing our country is this conga and country thing. It's killing us. People still harbor those kind of mess in their mind. That's a conga man. That's a conga. So you base that, and you refuse to move to the next level because you got conga country thing in your mind that, oh, you're not get there, or you can't do this because you're not from. I think those things are wrong, and it's nothing wrong. I think people should be constructive in their criticism of Charlene, but don't bring this tribalistic stuff here because uh, 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 Mr. To give him the credit, Mr. Cummings did try to get another person from Bassa, another lady from Bassa, and she refused it. So he had to move to the next step. It's not that he didn't give other people the opportunity. I'm not, let me get moving far and thinking that he already named her as the VP, but I think we need to be constructive. Politics is not here to create enemy and try to blackmail our friends and try to go out there and do things, telling people don't come on this show because this and that. I don't think it's necessary. We all discussing things in the interest of our country. We may discuss it in a different way, but I don't think it's something for us to create some kind of personal stuff for others. And I think people should accept it. To the women, they should be, if she's nominated, to the women, I think this is something for them to look to and be proud of. Yet another woman had joined the race in our country and stuff like that. There should be a motivation for them. They should be motivated by that. That if Charlie or Joel Howard could get to that level, or Ellen Johnson said he could get to that level, I can do it as well. I can, as a woman, I can definitely go through. So I think it's important
Any
that
any nation with a strong women will be a strong nation.
New text message from +1 4
just put that
6
thing off.
I
9
think
Mr.
that,
3
Saki, can you
6
mute your
1
mic?
0 4
Welcome to the
3
closing
3.
argument.
okay. Any
Okay, so we'll be going to the phone line shortly.
yeah.
Producers, please get the phone lines ready. Hope that they will not have technical problems because sometimes we do. Varney, Saki, welcome to the closing argument. The second half of the show. I know you wanted to chime in because right now we're discussing the possible VP pick for Alexander Cummings for the CPP party, which will be announced when? Ben, you said
What's going
tomorrow?
on, Fuma? What's
Yeah,
Likely
going on?
if
tomorrow?
holding everything constant, it should be tomorrow, from what I have
Okay.
seen so far.
All right. So, Mr. Varney, you can go ahead.
If I'm on the stage, I'm not getting anybody. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, maybe it's your
We can
end.
hear
We
you.
can hear you very clear.
We can
Speaker
hear you,
offline.
Varney. So it's probably
Yeah,
your connection.
his speaker probably. You need to connect your speaker. You're using the phone, right? Because he's saying the speaker is offline, so his speaker has to be connected.
Yeah, speaker
Then
offline.
take
Yeah.
him out, and then he come back in, and then he can reconnect the speaker.
Okay.
I got an issue with I don't know what's going on with my
Because
stuff,
he's using
folks.
his phone. That's why.
Keep telling me speaker offline.
Yeah. But Kev, go ahead.
Yeah, any nation that invests in women will be a strong nation. Um, we have a vice president, a female vice president. I think uh, we should all look in that direction. When I saw the picture, I I let the producer put that picture up to see Charlene on the table with Musa and uh, Cummings and them on that table. I think to see a female sitting there talking with uh, somebody like Charlene is it's a great thing. I love to see that. I love to see stuff like that. I keep saying, yeah, there's a picture up there. She's sitting there. It seems like they're having a discussion. Maybe I don't know if they're betting her right there, asking her the tough question. And let me say this: I disagree with Mr. Cummings in everywhere, but I do respect Mr. Cummings' wife. She's a strong black woman. When you listen to her, you can actually know she's a strong woman. She's a strong woman. Listen to me. It's one of their that I don't know why they don't use her, but it's one of the strongest weapons, Mrs. Cummings. So I think that when we have strong women, I don't like to use strong black women. I want to use women in general. Women in general, when they come out and be strong in any nation, that nation will prosper. That nation will prosper, and that's why we should invest in our daughters, and that's why we should teach them right, and we should introduce them to strong women around the world because I
Definitely.
believe, and I believe, I believe women are the backbone. They have this saying for every successful man. What is saying? Somebody can end it for me. So it's strong
It's no
woman.
longer no. Don't say it wrong. This time it's not behind every success.
There's a woman next to, side
It's
by
a
side.
Ah,
beside.
ah,
We
but
Don't
are
get
no
behind.
longer, there's
Don't
a
get in
song in
trouble.
Liberia, we are no longer in the back,
Uh-huh.
we are side by side.
Uh-huh. Don't
so
get
Larry
in
just talk
trouble.
about the
Because
Ghana
you say that
president
behind
message.
a problem.
yeah, but
Larry
but
just
So,
spoke
but
about the Ghana
but
president message.
whatever way we say it, we know that in our lives, if you have a strong woman, besides politics, in our life, we're always successful. So I disagree with Charlene in her politics, but I congratulate her if tomorrow she will be announced. I will congratulate her, and I personally will call her and congratulate her because, like I said, I remember was sitting in Bolivar when she
you
came
should
there.
have
She and
come
I.
a VSB and congratulated him too now. I gotta put that one in there.
Who are? Who?
I'm just going to keep that way. He come on the show next week, then you'll see what I will congratulate him. Yeah, but but I'm not saying anything now. Let him come next week. But what I'm saying here is that I remember when she came, Ben and I was sitting down. She and I were talking, and I will send a picture so you guys can see we had a good picture. She and I, and and I was like, Ben, you can't be grabbing Charlene all to yourself. Ben said, leave me back. Ben, you remember that discussion we were fighting? Because she came, we sat down and we talked. We don't see eye to eye in politics, but we had a good discussion about Liberia. Not hustle things, not fake things, not not try to blackmail people. Don't that's
So,
not what we want Liberia to be. We want Liberia to be, Jackie, please. I'm sorry, just give me and at least one
go
30
ahead.
seconds. 30 seconds. We want to discuss the issue. I'm a government supporter. I'm a sedition. I'm a diehard sedition. Counter me. Tell me why the Clarendon Park is not good for Liberia. Tell me. Tell me why the PHP Park is not good for Liberia. Tell me what my guy is doing is not good for Liberia. But don't tell me,
Kevin, I put a PSP up. Hi,
yeah,
yeah. Yo,
don't
that
tell
be
me.
easy on this show, yeah.
Yes, go on that PHP. I want you to see
Jackie, you
Liberians.
can't argue. Jackie, you can't argue with PSP. I'm sorry.
Yes, I
Yeah,
want you to see. And
This
one of
is
the things,
PHP development.
yeah.
listen. One of the things on that PHP, you see a woman working. You see a
So
woman.
what are they building?
That's all right there. That's
Yeah,
all
what
right
are
there.
they building, Kev?
Wait, hold on. That's a woman right there. We're building one of the best. The president spoke to the Senegalese president, and he went there. He saw it. He said, "I need this. I need this in my country." It's a park that you have everything. It's more than invisible park. You see everything. People will be leaving different countries to come there. It's by the
Look,
seaside. We have women. We have Liberians.
Kev,
Earlier we talk about jobs, right? Earlier we talk
what,
about jobs. Dr. Peabody. Look up, look up, look up. Liberian. Look at Liberian. We have women there who working. Look at Liberians working. That's a job for you and I. That's the debate I want us to debate. Tell me why PHP is not good for us. Tell me that. Tell me why Clarendon today, the president there, and the president is lying today. He said, I build my life and I will build Liberia. Tell me if the president lying. But don't fake that Koji
Kev, building the park is
Muscat.
not building
Don't
Liberia.
tell me, don't tell me that Koji killed Muscat. Don't tell me that behind the scene you're talking about how you should plan that Koji killed Muscat. Don't do that.
So
Tell me
so
if this is wrong. That's what I want to debate.
so
Jack,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. As the parties form, come to a conclusion, have the vice standard bearers, all the mergers that are taking place. At the at the bottom line, the voters will be making a decision based on certain criteria. What are those top 2 to 3 things that the voters may be looking for in each of these candidates? What is the trending issue or that matters to the voters this 2023 year? We can just discuss it real quickly. Go to the phone lines because by 7 o'clock we gotta go. So who wants to go first?
Let me. I can take a stab. Listen, um, coming from Liberia, and I know there is a tendency where we think. First of all, let's establish the fact that we are getting there, but we're not there yet. Our elections, wholly and solely, is not just based on issues,
Something is not
right?
working, folks. I don't know why.
Yeah,
This is
We
strange.
can hear you, Barney.
I'm not.
we can hear
I'm
you.
seeing
Can
you
you hear
guys, but
us?
I'm not hearing anything.
Then it's your
So I don't know
system.
what's the
I think
cause.
it's his speaker. It's something with his speaker. He can't
I
hear us.
think using your phone, sometimes it does.
Yeah, I have my speaker on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. It's strange.
Yeah. So as I was saying, we have not arrived, right, to a place in our politics where our politics is entirely about the issue. It's not. Let's lay the foundation first. I always tell people that there's a tendency where people think to say, well, the Liberian people suffering, right? And I hear this a lot from my from our side, the opposition, right?
Right.
Liberian people suffering, so they will vote this government out of power. I tend to disagree to a certain extent, and let me tell you why I say that. The story of Liberia has been one of suffering. Let's be fair. The story of the country, a vast majority of the country has been the story of the country has been one of suffering. What I think we have had over the last couple of years or the last couple of election cycles has been a combination of some issues, but mostly emotional attachment to candidates. How people feel about candidates, how people resonate with candidates, whether they like a particular candidate. If you find, I'll give you an example, like Charles Bromsky, right? I was national chair of the Liberty Party, campaigning heavily for Charles Drumskin to get elected president of Liberia. What was the number one? What was the number one issue that Liberians quote unquote say about Charles Drumskin? He's arrogant. He left wearing white shirt. He, the man, there's this sense of entitlement. He got to be president. You hear some of that resonating, right? You hear some of that scene talk around Mr. Cummings right now. Oh, he only won't be president. Well, duh. He announced that he wants to be president. That's why he's running to be president, right? So the issue of the issues when it comes to the economy, all of those things, what is happening in the country, there is a tendency where people tend to try to draw some kind of dichotomy to say, okay, yes, there are economic issues, but what has happened over the last couple of years for these things to be solved? And so my disappointment comes from the fact where they tend to say, yeah, things are hard, or we want to hear or we want to see more. Who's the replacement? What's going to happen? What did we hear before? Those kind of talk. That's why it's a little tricky for us to kind of gauge to say, oh, this is going to be the top three issues that people are going to be voting on. You're going to see people voting purely based, like I always tell people, and this is my last thought. I always tell people this: look at President Weah. If you listen to the way the opposition, the way the propaganda has been placed against President Weah should not even consider somebody who would be in the second round, right? If you listen to the radio every day in Liberia about how the country is and how the whole country, then John Weah not even supposed to be polling in the top three. But why is he considered to be the one who everybody going to meet in the runoff? Because the Liberian people, Jackie, tend to excuse the president. And we do it to all our presidents. We would rather blame the people around the president than blame the president. So they say, oh, that McGill spoiling the government, that Twelve spoiling the government, or during Ellington, that Amara was spoiling the government, that Bravo Salif was spoiling the government. So it's just it's a little tricky, and I find that question a little hard to answer because I don't think our people have gotten to the point where we say, oh, this is issue one, this is issue two, this is issue three. It's all emotional, and it's all how they feel 2 months before the election or 3 weeks before the election. And depending on that, we go to the polls and we elect somebody. I think I'm a little too tough and I'm a little too vague and I'm a little too blunt, but that's just the reality. That's how I see it.
Okay, but I do think they feel something, and even if they're not able to express it the way they need to, but I think they look at the environment and they base their decision based on what they're seeing at the time. But what do you think, Dr. Peabody, and then Larry?
Jackie, I will come to it from a different perspective. I think poverty, in a way, have created that vacuum for our people in terms of making decisions when it comes to what to vote for, what not to vote for. We have seen instant gratification play a major part where people can be here today suffering and somebody come and give them a couple of dollars and say, look, I want you to come and vote for me. They'll forget about all the suffering they've been going through and say, you know what, oh yeah, this man is my man, I'm going to vote for him. And that's why voter education have been lacking in our country. Most of our people that don't know what to vote for, don't know how to vote, and don't know what the policy are. Because you know what, they don't have time. They're out there looking for bread and butter to eat. So again, I've always pointed back to the Liberian people. You are the one that live there. You are the one that vote. You are the one that get up in the morning and go to the market or go to look for food or go to sell something to put your children. You know what you're facing, and you should be able to make a decision. Have I benefited? What have I gotten? Any from this regime, a previous regime? What did I get? Am I happy with my condition? If I'm happy with the condition I'm living in, with my people and all of that, do I have a job to support? I mean, for some it may resonate, and the majority will not have it. But I think one of the mistakes that the political parties have made in our country, they have not been able to educate the people fully on what to vote for, especially my married children, as we call them, in the interior and other places of what to vote for. We go there, we charm these people with bag of rice, money, and the next thing They come on our side and they are voting for her. But it's something that like for the president, it's something that the Liberian people got to think about. Have they have enough job and created healthcare? You know, do we have a great healthcare? Our education system, security, and all of that. Do we have that? It's Liberia. Okay, you know, that's something that Liberia will have to decide and think about. You know, but equally, our people don't know how to vote. They don't know what to vote for. They don't know what policy is, and also sometimes education plays a major part as well. Thank you.
But the 2020 election was a message. They did a swap in 2020, and there was a reason why they did that swap. Larry, go ahead. Your take.
Look, when it comes down to it, this election will come down to the camp that has the best propaganda machinery in place. Because the people don't vote on issue. If you have really good propaganda machinery in place, you're going to do extremely well. And when I say
Well,
propaganda, because the proliferation of smartphones and these devices. I was surprised one time a few years ago, there was a fire somewhere in Morovia. Not in Morovia, there was a hospital last year
Mm-hmm.
outside of Morovia. And I noticed all these young people that were running out, boys, girls, they were all running out. They all had a little phone. They were videotaping it to put it on social media. So that tells you right away that if you can get to them via social media, YouTube, anything, they will eat up that information. The people that have the good propaganda machine in place, they will do extremely well. You will have a good percentage of people who will vote purely on tribe. You're not going to stop that. It's always been within the society. It's going to happen no matter what. You have 150 days before the election. No one has really spent a lot of time or effort in voter education,
mhm.
so that people don't know the issues. But like what Ben said, if you really get down to the nitty gritty, people will find out that inflation is a tax and they're paying more for food today, rice, gasoline, and all that stuff than they did several years ago. But they don't know because nobody is really preaching that to them. They will realize that what Ben, Doc, and Kev had mentioned before when we are talking about the issues, we have a high number of people, women, who are giving up their lives while trying to give birth. The maternal
Right.
mortality rate in Liberia is high,
It's
but we
very
don't discuss
high.
that stuff because we don't have very good hospitals and clinics. There
Mm-hmm.
are, you know, Liberia is within the top five when it comes to people who are dying from car accidents. A lot of people die from car accidents. Sometimes it's not even the accident itself. It's the fact that when you take them to rush them to the hospital, we don't have good medical
That's
care.
true. We don't have trauma centers.
So if we get down to the issues, how do you create jobs for the young people? No young person, you know, in the prime of their life should be running behind some foolish politician and chanting, you know, because the politician could give them a couple of dollars. They're not gonna. If they had a job, they won't run out on the street like we're seeing all the time on video.
Mm-hmm.
So the person who can explain how you're going to create hundreds of thousands of jobs for the young people, tell us how you're going to raise the money to create these jobs. We don't want you bringing Eton, Ebola, or borrowing from the IMF or any of that other crazy, wacky stuff. We want to see how you're going to be constructive in raising money. Tell us how you're going to really, really, really pay for the roads, the farm to market roads you've been talking about. You know, we don't need to be on Bali Island or Fantasy Island or some other island. Tell us how you would build good, very good housing for the people. We know West Point is kind of beach erosion and all that stuff is taking place in West Point. We know when it flooding, when it rains, the rainy season, we see what happened to West Point. And we know back in 2008, the World Bank gave Amaracona and them millions of dollars to put a disaster management recovery program in place for West Point. There has to be some type of an asset recovery thing in place. The A-Rat team, I don't know whether it was A-Rat, what was they called with the guy who sanctioned and Arthur Johnson and all those guys there who were trying to do all this asset recovery. That whole thing fell apart. But
Yeah. All right.
With the secret,
Yeah.
yeah, but we saw what happened with Nigeria. They got about 800 million stolen by Sani Abacha years
And we
ago.
didn't get any recovery.
We ain't get crap.
We didn't
So
get any recovery.
it's not, the reality is, look, it's not going to come down to the issues. Let's be honest with each other. It's not going to come. The person who will put in place good propaganda machinery, you're on the air, you're writing for the people who like to read, but you mean it on the air, on the radio, and doing all that stuff, and you're selling your ideas. You ain't got to go cuss the person mind and pie or castigate them or make up fake stories and all that nonsense. Put up a good argument for your team. That's what we like to see. Because we know that at the end of the war, when peacebuilding.org did a study in Liberia, they found out the top three issues while we went to war, it was corruption, it was tribalism, and it was poverty. Those things still exist. If we start preaching tribalism
Have they
today,
swapped though, Larry? Have they swapped? Like corruption is where's corruption? Is it to the top? Is has tribalism dropped to the bottom? Are we less tribalistic today or more or the same before the war? I think that's something important that
and you
maybe one
see,
day we need to talk about.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
what this
that's a
is
good point.
what Liz oh, I think I lost you guys. This is what Liz the Liberia Institute, the whole statistical geo people, that's what they should be doing because we don't collect data in the country. But we don't
Right.
give them the money to go and do it. And when we do give them the money, they use it for political reasons. That place is an absolute mess. So I don't know, but I just want to say when it comes down to the issues, it would be nice if we had spent some time at the end of each election cycle to continue voter education. We shouldn't wait election year, then we try to educate the people. By then it's too late, you know. So, but I'm glad the closing argument is elevating the actual the discourse, the conversation. We're not going to get in the mud and start talking about people ma and pa.
No.
Because at the end of the day, like the song sometimes says, we're all Liberians and we need to be careful. We will scare away the investors while trying to castigate and kill each other. We want to scare away the investors and everybody will just end up suffering. So, that's my 2 cents. And before I go, I just I want to say real quick, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you all
Oh
have a
yeah.
wonderful day.
Yes.
Much,
Thank you
much
for that
respect.
reminder. I forgot about it.
So,
No, it's true. It's true. But Jackie, you said to your point. I think corruption and I think corruption is has elevated and it's not because there's people who say this government is more corrupt than this other government. And I tend to disagree with that because let me tell you why. I think the reason we talk more about corruption today is because we have access to talk about it, right? There are things now that are in place that we can talk about corruption. 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have access to an open budget, right? People couldn't take the Taylor years. Nobody had access to the national budget. It was just announced that the national budget was $80 million, right? Wherever was in it, we don't know. The Turbo years, we didn't know what the national we didn't have the freedom, right? So you saw the needle start to move closer in the Salif years when there was open budget, when there were the radio, people started talking on the radio, people started having frank conversations. You've seen it get louder under the we administration because of social media, right? You can go online, you can see the budget, you know how much your representatives are making. Darius Dillon got into the Senate. He said, okay, you know what? We're making 15,000. It started a whole new debate, right? So there's been
And we
little
took the $30,000.
exactly. There's been little progress here and there when it comes to the issue of corruption. On the issue of tribalism, I think it's just a smokescreen that rears its head up every election cycle. Because what politicians do is they tend to use it to get elected, and by the time they finish getting elected, then they're no longer they're not crew, they're not Pele, they're nothing. All of them sitting now in the national legislature, they are honorable men. But when it can't come to election, they say, oh, that they crew people.
Then
That
they
they,
start using the crew name or
and they
the
start
bastard
using
name or the pellet name.
exactly. So I think that's my answer to that question. But I thought I thought it was a very interesting question you asked about those two vices. Yeah.
Yep. Kev, do you want to chime in? It's almost 7 o'clock.
We're not going to the phone line, but yeah, I think
On
because of
the
time, right? Right.
Yeah, I think
is the
let's
studio?
just wrap it up. We'll do phones on Friday, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do.
Monday.
on Monday. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our closing.
Right.
It's been a
Yeah.
very interesting
Free
show
flow.
today.
Free flow.
Very, very nice show. It's a free
Yeah,
flow
great
Friday.
flow. Yeah.
Our guest, our vice tenor bearer from the Unity Party, Senator Jeremiah Koung, was unable to make the show today due to an emergency that he had and other things. But we were able to have some very, very fruitful discussion, and I look forward to us having more, fruitful discussion where we can educate the audience and give them stuff real tangible stuff to think about. And this is what the closing argument is all about. It is for everybody. It is not for one party, because we got a diverse group of people here. You got a no position, the opposition, the in position, and that's what closing argument is all about.
And in
So to
every
our
position.
the every position. Yes. So thank you so much, Lara, for being with us today. We
It
look
was
forward
great,
to
really
seeing
great.
you
Yeah,
come on so that we can have more fruitful discussions about
okay.
the country and about, look, today we talk about tourism.
Yep.
Can
Yeah,
you imagine?
Yep.
We'll
very
talk
important.
about it. We
Very
talk about
important.
the village life. You know how we all need to start building homes, outside of Monserrato County and go into the
Buy
village, build a
farmland.
little
Buy
house. Yeah,
farmland.
and buy
Buy
farm,
farmland.
and start
I'm
to
telling
grow
you.
something.
You
So these
know.
are all things that can boost the
Oh, and
country.
I really got to leave.
All
Before
Okay.
right.
before I leave, I just wanted to say,
Yeah, you're closing.
Kev promised to buy me Wawa sandwich. No recording, just Wawa sandwich, Kev.
Hey, boy, they
No
Larry
recording,
boy.
my man.
You
Let
listen.
Just
Larry got
Wawa
let,
sandwich, all
You
right?
let, let
listen.
Larry got
You
that
listen to the
trouble.
show
Nah, no
yesterday.
Larry let trouble. Nah, no Larry let trouble.
You listen to the show yesterday.
I'll see you guys
Bye
later.
bye. See you soon, Larry.
Great show, guys. Great show. It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back here with
Yeah, it
everybody.
was
Oh,
great.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, this
Hmm.
was lovely. We missed Tomalin. He couldn't come on this evening,
But
but we
yeah,
had
but
fun. It was awesome.
let's do our closing. I'll go first. Like I said,
Yeah, I gotta
um,
run to a soccer game for my son. I think you heard that conversation. I'll give you direction.
yeah. It just 30 seconds that we all go because myself, I need to go. So, but if Charlene gonna be the vice running mate tomorrow, congratulations to her. Uh, she coming in a bigger league than what she was. Try to run as lawmaker in Lassa. So I think it's an elevation for her, and we will debate the issue. But congratulations to her. Let uh, this show begin.
We look
we'll have
forward to
fun.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So are we
yeah,
going to do a special weekend edition if that happens, or we'll
Eh,
just put on Monday?
we will say this: if
Ben,
that
the
happens
ball is in your
tomorrow,
court.
Ben, I think we need to do
Yeah, I
something.
agree. I agree. If
If
if,
that
if it
happens
does happen
tomorrow,
tomorrow, we should do a show. I
Yeah,
agree.
we should
let's
do a
do a
show.
show on
But
Sunday, man.
we
Let's
might
do a show on
no
Sunday.
Let's do a show
no we
when?
can
Sunday.
Peabody, what you said?
Oh, Sunday.
Sunday?
Hmm.
no we can do
But
it
what if they
tomorrow,
announce it
but in the
early in the
early
day?
time, like
Yeah,
maybe by
maybe
two
maybe the
o'clock.
afternoon. Yeah.
Anyway, Ben
Yeah,
Ben will coordinate that with
We'll
us, and then
coordinate it.
we'll,
We'll
we'll
yeah,
coordinate
make
we'll
it.
the
do it early
announcement
tonight.
as soon as
We'll do it
possible.
early tonight. Yeah, we'll do
Let
it
me
early
let me
tonight.
state let me state that I have acquired a number for the
Oh,
diaspora.
what
Oh,
happened to Ben?
the CPP kick. You want to give out what happened in
What
Let
Oh,
me
happened
he's
to
back.
you, Ben?
So the CPP people, the people kick me off the stage because they didn't want me to talk. Okay, I come in to announce who your vice stand-up bearer is. Stand there, they don't want me to talk. No, I'm just messing. I'm just messing. No, but I was saying that I have gotten a telephone number for the diaspora callers because I know a
Great,
lot of them have been asking
great,
for a telephone number for the diaspora callers. So I do have that number.
great.
Oh,
I got.
excellent.
I bought one for someone. Someone actually gave me a phone from Liberia that I can use. It's a phone I can just put a SIM in. So I actually got a U.S. number, and I will just have it when the show is on. We'll go ahead and give that number out, and be able to get our people to call in. But I thought it was a fascinating show, Jackie. It's amazing to see how you're navigating this thing, and you're holding the reins there. I mean, I was watching the show yesterday, and I was the last show, and I saw Kev for trying to get you hot, and you kept putting him in his place. That's how you gotta treat Kev. You can't let Kev take any. You get him one step, he taking 300 miles. The boy, you gotta be very careful with him. But I saw him. But I want to thank you guys for holding the fort down. I know it was a little crazy. I tried my best to.
And we miss you. We miss you a lot. All your
Yeah, I
fans
tried my
here.
best to join from Liberia, but it was just
Yeah,
meetings
that's
after meetings
understandable.
after
Yeah.
meetings, and I was being pulled from one end to the other. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just focus on what I'm doing here. But it's been amazing. I think we are doing well. We still have a lot more things to do, but we are going to get there. We're going to bring some quality folks on the show. People who want to come on as guest panelists, you're welcome to come and have a conversation with us. As we say, we hold nothing against each other, against anybody here. We just want to do well for our country and see our country do well. But Jackie, again, thank you, Dr. Peabody, Kev, thank you, and to the viewers out there, thank you for your support. There are very few of you bumped into me when I was in Monrovia, and told us about the show. So Jackie, they always asking for you. Everybody's asking for you. So I'm sure when you get to Monrovia, you will have a whole fan club waiting for you at the airport. So check get ready.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much to our producers, to our audience, the listeners, viewers. We love you, and keep sharing our show. Keep telling everybody about the closing argument. Once again, the closing argument is not just for one group of people, it is for everybody, the entire country. No matter who you are, closing argument is for you. No matter which party you belong to, closing argument is for you, is for all Liberians, regardless of who we are or where we are on this planet Earth. So, our producers, thank you so much for this Friday's edition, and we shall see you back on Monday. If we might have a special edition this weekend, so we'll let you know. We'll let the public know.
Yeah.
If not, we'll definitely see you on Monday. And stay tuned and keep sharing the show and telling people about the closing argument. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Quickly,
And
Jackie,
Eva,
and
over to you.
those who want to watch the show, some of you say you're still having problems, just go to
Yeah, people are
Facebook,
still having problem finding the show. We need to
go to
resolve that.
go to
Yeah.
KMTV, and once you click on KMTV, you will see the closing argument on your Facebook page. KMTV, and then click
And then
on
the radio
the radio, Hot FM. Hot FM takes
and
carry out.
Puma, right?
Yeah, and
We're
put
on
my
Puma
FM
as well,
on it.
right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
happy Mother's Day, Money
Yes,
Walker,
happy
Love
Mother's Day
Hawkins,
weekend
Happy
to all
Mother's
of
Day to
us.
all the
everybody.
mothers, all the
Jackie,
mothers.
happy
Happy.
Mother's Day.
Thank you.
God bless you guys. Aiva,
Thank
God
you.
bless you, man.
Iba,
Thank
up
you.
to you.
Let me run to my game before I get
Well,
home.
thank you, folks. Thank you. Thanks for watching the closing argument. I would like to acknowledge our viewers who are watching via YouTube. I want to say good evening to you, Dave Smith. Good evening to you, Smart Man Talk. Good evening to you, Abacos. Good evening to you, TYG. You are watching via YouTube. Good evening to you, Emmanuel Bro. You're also watching via YouTube. And Vet Dix, you're also watching via YouTube. Augusto P. Flombo is watching via Facebook. Ruben Draper is also watching via Facebook. Vittorio Blambo is watching via Facebook. And we also have Anthony Gay, Elizabeth Bowen, and Fishbone Picking. They are all watching via Facebook. She will come to you on Monday, but be on the standby because depending on the VP pick of the CPP tomorrow, we might likely bring you the show on tomorrow. Good night from the nation's capital, Monrovia.